NBC announcing they will air a miniseries. It will air a miniseries on the life of Hillary Clinton. The series will feature the former First Lady turned Senator and Secretary of State. It will feature the Clintons' final years in the White House and will air before the next presidential election. What about this? David Webb, host of the David Webb Show on Sirius XM Patriot and co-founder of Tea Party 365. Leslie Marshall, syndicated radio talk show host. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning,
So
Bill.
on the radio, this is going to give you guys plenty to talk about, Dave. Are you going to watch the four-part series featuring Hillary Clinton, Dave?
You know, from my point of view, I absolutely have to watch it just so I can know what they've told, because we know that NBC would never edit anything for air. When are they going to start this, and does it include old Whitewater, the Rose Law Firm? Are they going to tell a true journalistic story, or are they going to have revisionist history of the life of the next president of the United States as they hope
You
with
raise a
Hillary
good
Clinton?
point. I don't know how you win on this, Leslie, because, you know, what you have in this miniseries will be debated just as much as what is not in the miniseries.
Well, actually, I don't think it's me. I'm going to win on this. Watch. Here we go. Ready? First of all, NBC wins on this because it gets people like David, who might not normally watch it, to watch it. And it might even get people who don't like Hillary to weigh in. It's certainly, I don't think, going to affect whether or not she decides to run, and certainly who would vote or not vote for her. But I do think that they might actually enter into the miniseries. I think, David, you made me laugh when you said, is it going to have journalistic integrity? Sweetie, as somebody who's watched Lifetime television for women way too much, what miniseries does have, except for like, you know, Band of Brothers or Roots or something, has journalistic integrity? They're miniseries for that reason. They have some kind of a soap opera.
We're at the Sweetie level. Now, to both of you, David, where was that four-part series on Mitt Romney when he was running for White House?
It must have been on the cutting room floor. It's in cyber-oblivion somewhere. Look, I'm all for people telling stories, Bill. I'm all for history being recanted properly and accurately. So, you know, West Wing Redux, maybe that's what this is. Maybe it's just, let's make Hillary seem like, well, I don't know, the savior who didn't get involved in Benghazi and make decisions. Let's rewrite the history so we can forget. And by the way, who's going to play Bill Clinton, and then who's going to play the mistresses? Let's have some fun with this.
I don't think it'll be you, and I know Leslie's not going to play the role of Hillary, but you do raise an interesting point, because in the news, even at that time, will be the issue of Benghazi. You know, whether you put it in or leave it out, Leslie, you're going to have questions about what happened.
You know, my understanding is that this miniseries is going to cover when she was First Lady during President Clinton's second term. She wasn't yet Secretary of State, so I don't see how that would weigh in as much in what she did, because Benghazi hadn't happened as of yet. Secondly, if you talk about Nannygate, Travelgate, Whitewatergate, there's a reason all those gates are attached. And as you know, there was really nothing proven, and that's pretty much what NBC, I think, would put forth in this miniseries.
So then
and
you
I
wonder,
think that those at the end of the day who like her and don't, and the miniseries won't change that.
We'll see if people watch too. Dave, then you have to what? You have to do equal time for Chris Christie and Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio and Rand Paul. I don't know, where does that list end?
This is going to be the busiest production season for miniseries on the 2016 elections that we've ever seen in America. I don't expect them to go out and give a fair hearing. It's not their history, and that's not to impugn. It's just these are the facts when it comes to it. But we will watch this, Bill. I think they will do if the right a service by ignoring the realities on policy and on issues. No matter how much you gloss it over, she's not the next Jackie Kennedy. She's just Hillary Clinton, who has a series of issues that Americans are concerned about.
All right, now, Leslie, another topic that relates directly to the Clintons. Anthony Weiner is still in this battle for New York mayor, and his wife, longtime associate of Hillary Clinton. Now you've got reports in NBC, you've got reports in the New York Post that the Clintons are trying to say, wait a minute. You know, we don't agree with the strategy that's now being employed by him and his wife. And we weren't the ones to tell her to stand by her man. No, this is their strategy. What do you make of the separation the Clintons are now trying to do on this story?
I do think they're very different situations. I mean, first of all, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not a fan of Anthony Weiner, and I'm certainly not a fan of what either guy did, and I would have kicked either to the curb, to be honest with you, Bill. But although Hillary stood by her man, and although Anthony Weiner's wife did work for her, these are very different situations. I mean, one was private, although in the Oval Office, between consenting adults. Anthony Weiner snapping his privates and putting it out over the internet makes it very public. Also, Hillary Rodham Clinton was not pregnant. It wasn't a new marriage. And if you remember, in the Clintons' marriage, there had been infidelities in the past that had been forgiven by Mrs. Clinton as well. So, and Anthony Weiner has never been, and I don't think will ever be, our president.
And Dave, what do you think of this?
I think the women of America should ask themselves a question: if this is acceptable behavior by your husband, whether he's president, whether he's a mayoral candidate, or a guy who's fixing cars down at the local Midas, would you accept your husband having this kind of behavior? And then in our political officials, in our elected officials, is it acceptable to not only violate the trust of Americans, but lie about it, repeat the bad behavior, and then lie about it again, and then the wives stand up there? Come on, women of America, what do you say?
To that end, he's sinking like a stone if the polls are right. We shall see. David, thank you. And Leslie, thanks to you. Diane Lane will play the role of Hillary Clinton, and David Webb will play the role of President Bill Clinton. See you both later.
All right,
next time. Ciao, Patty Ann.